Well, good morning, everyone. So, just a few days ago now, I was persuaded to go and see the latest Avengers film called Endgame. And I watched the film, and I noticed the usual things. There was aspects of the film which was quite heartwarming. There was a really huge amount of the film which was gratuitous violence, which we come to expect. And I thought, well, okay, there you go. No great surprises there, perhaps. But the surprise came the following morning when I wake up and I feel poisoned in a way that I can hardly even find the words to describe to you. My entire being feels utterly poisoned. And I stagger around and use the methods that help me to detox, including going into the sea, having a total water immersion baptism experience in the sea water, and all the other things I do to bring myself back from a tricky experience. And I get some insights, and I realise that, of course, that film is produced by Marvel, and Marvel is just one of the many little labels which is to be found in one of the 6 multinational conglomerates that control most of the media today. And of course it would have been full of subliminals. So actually I'd subjected myself quite voluntarily to a fairly horrific experience. And that has been an omen in its own right, watching that film, but more watching and observing my responses to it in terms of my body the following day. That was a really big omen, and it was telling me that something's about to happen. So that was a big omen. And then I had another omen more recently. So those of you who are following my story know that I went for an experiment, and my experiment was to go and just let go of smoking, leave smoking behind for a while. So I did 16 days without smoking. That was very interesting. A lot of toxification being discharged, particularly emotionally. And then after 16 days I thought, right, okay, let's have a little smoke, because at that point I was processing some really full-on information. And what then happened is I did something that I've done. It's not the first time, I've done it many times. Here we are, we've got a little area here, and we've got a little planter with some plants in it. So what I did is I put my little stub out into the planter that I've done many times, and thought no more about it. And then I had a bit of a surprise, because the following morning when I went out to do my Qigong, I noticed a lot of the plants appeared to be dead. And then even more, I noticed the holes in the planters. And in fact, what actually happened is this planter had caught fire during the night, and I poured water all over the soil thinking that would do it. And to my great surprise, the following evening when I came back to this planter and checked it out, it was still smouldering. So this for me is an omen on so many levels. The most simple one. Now let's just leave the omen beside. Let's get into rational mind, because rational mind says, okay, so we've had a week without rain, so the soil would have got dry, so you just didn't stub it out well enough, and so it caught fire. The soil caught fire. However, it doesn't actually wash, because we've had periods of time with no rain for the same length of time, and this has never happened before. So there is something more going on here. And one of the things that's going on for me definitely is I'm in this process of letting go of these great plant allies, the tobacco plant and the cannabis plant, that have helped me so much over the years. And it is time to let go. That was one of the obvious messages from seeing this little catastrophe in a plastic planter. But there's more to it than that, because actually if you go deeper down the rabbit hole, I can see this has got a lot to do with what I've been processing over the last days, weeks, months, and really the last 6 years. So, omens. So, what an omen is something that happens out of the blue, and then you realise it's got a relevance to you. And so to me this is perfect, because we've got all that going on there, but then when I draw back, we've got this going on here. So this planet is an omen, is an allegory for what's been going on this planet as far as I'm concerned, because there is so much destruction, so much cruelty, so much horror, and yet, despite all that's happened, we've got the new flowering, which is continuing regardless of all that has been dumped into the situation. So omens are fascinating things. Look out for them. I've come across many in my life. This is a film I've been in the process of making for about 2 to 3 years now, and there's been various times I've seen an omen, witnessed an omen, I thought, right, now it's time to bring this subject up, and it's never been right. There was an occasion when I was in my backyard up north, and I was just sitting down having a little smoke, and a couple of people walked past, and I only caught like 2 sentences of their conversation. It doesn't matter what those sentences are now, but the point is, at that moment, that was a really powerful call to me, to my awareness. It was a message which I was able to interpret for myself as being useful and helpful. So that's the thing about omens. We can also come across omens, particularly with birds. I mean, crows are famous for it, owls also, and wild animals too. They can suddenly make you aware of their existence in a way to cause you to stop in your tracks and pay attention. So omens is a fascinating subject. I'm sure you've experienced your own omens, had your own omen experiences. If you had your own omen experiences, please comment and let us all know, because it's great to share. Thank you very much. So really, I've just set you up for what's going to come next. Thank you.